And we are back after 2 days without Phillies Daily. I was gone for the weekend. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much. But like I said, we're back. I'm Mike Kennelly. This is Phillies Daily. The Phillies just wrapped up a 3-game series out there in Sacramento against the A's. They won that series 2-1. Unfortunately, they dropped the series finale on Sunday in a 5-4 loss to the A's. However, it is their third consecutive series win. Now, against, subpar teams of the A's, Rockies, and Pirates, but you're going to take wins. You're going to take these series wins whenever you can get it, no matter who you're playing. Unfortunately, that loss on Sunday ended and snapped a 9-game winning streak for the Phillies, but there's always the next day, and that's what the Phillies are doing. They're riding high pretty much right now as a team, playing really good baseball. You're not going to win every game, so it happens. They have a huge 3-game series starting on Tuesday at home at Citizens Bank Park against the division rival, NL East rival, Atlanta Braves, who just got a huge boost back to their lineup with superstar Ronald Acuna returning from his injury. So, something to watch, and we'll see how that rivalry gets started here in 2025. But I want to talk about what just happened this weekend against the A's, simply because I wasn't able to make those videos as they happened, as the games happened. So we're going to do a quick recap here, talking about the A's series. Like I said, the Phillies won that series 2-1, unfortunately dropped the series finale on Sunday in a 5-4 close game loss. But a lot of things to like in that series. In Game 1 on Friday night, Zach Wheeler, the Phillies ace, the 2024 National League Cy Young runner-up, took them out against the A's, and he was just dominant as usual. You're just typical things out of Zach Wheeler. He just goes out there, does his job, and he's one of the best starting pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, and he proved that again to the world on Friday night in that win against the A's. He went 6 2/3 innings, allowed just 3 hits. He did walk 2 batters, but that happens from time to time. And he let up 0 runs and had 8 strikeouts. So, Zach Wheeler, like I said, just another dominant performance by the Phillies ace. It was his 3rd consecutive start where he allowed 0 runs. So 3 consecutive scoreless starts for Zach Wheeler. He is incredible, and it's like clockwork when he goes out there and takes the mound. So, keep that up, Wheels. You're doing great, and it was just great to see Friday night him just continue his dominance. He is now 6-1 with a 2.42 ERA in 2025. He has 88 strikeouts with those 8 on Friday night. In his first 11 starts of 2025, again, a 2.42 ERA. Incredible stuff. It's really tough to have a sub-3 ERA in today's MLB, but Zach Wheeler, he is just a different guy out there, and the Phillies are very, very lucky to have him in their starting rotation. Opponents are hitting just 190 against Zach Wheeler so far in 2025, so there's just not much success against him, and the Phillies are really benefiting from him in their starting rotation. And obviously, with how he's pitching so far in 2025, he is going to be a Cy Young favorite, Cy Young candidate in the National League once again after coming up in second place, coming short last year to Chris Sale, who won it. Unfortunately, things happen, but he's right up there again, and I just expect nothing else but dominance when Zach Wheeler is on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's just, we're blessed, is all I can say. Great stuff to see again. Like I said, Zach Wheeler is just an incredible human being, incredible pitcher. And speaking of incredibleness, the Phillies had a huge win on Saturday night in Game 2 against the A's. It was an incredible finish against the A's. They were down 6-5 heading into the top of the 9th inning on Saturday night. Max Kepler, the Phillies offseason veteran outfield acquisition, he came up and he hit a solo home run to tie it up 6-6 in that top of the 9th inning. Obviously, the A's were the home team, so they got the chance to win the game in the bottom of the 9th. But Tanner Banks came in for the Phillies to try to force extra innings, and he did just that. He went 1-2-3 outing in that bottom of the 9th to send the game to extras. And then the Phillies, they didn't score in their half of the 10th inning, which is kind of weird because with the runner starting on second base now with the new MLB rule the past couple of years, it's fairly I'm not going to say easy, but usually a team can get that run home. Phillies couldn't do it in their half of the 10th inning. Luckily for them, they got out of a huge jam in the bottom of the 10th thanks to a great play by Brandon Marsh in center field. The A's had bases loaded with no outs in the bottom of the 10th. They just needed that one run to win the game, and it looked like they were going to do it. They hit a fly ball to center field to Brandon Marsh. He caught it, got the first out, obviously, with that catch. And then the runner from third tagged up to try to win the game at home to score. But Brandon Marsh had a different outcome in mind. He fired that ball to home to JT Realmuto. Realmuto tagged him out at home, and that was a double play. So he got the out in center field, catching the ball, threw it to home, got that runner trying to win the game, to score. Didn't work out for the A's, and then they got the next out to go into the 11th inning. So it was an overall scoreless 10th inning between the Phillies and the A's offenses, and the Phillies had another chance to win it, or at least to take the lead in the top of the 11th inning, and they did just that. Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbarian, he's having an incredible season in 2025. He had a 2 RBI double in Phillies half of the 11th inning of that ballgame to give them an 8-6 lead. And then right after that, Nick Castellanos hit a sacrifice fly to add another run to give them a 9-6 lead. But speaking of Schwarber, like I said, the Schwarbarian, he hit another Schwar bomb earlier in that ballgame. In the 6th inning, he had a go-ahead solo home run at the time to make it a 4-3 Phillies lead. It was his 18th home run of 2025, which was tied with Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees for the most in Major League Baseball. So, like I said, he's having an incredible season. He hit his 300th career home run the other day, and it's just awesome to see. And then, obviously, after the Phillies took the lead 9-6 in that 11th inning, Max Lazar came out for the bottom half to pitch for the Phillies in the 11th inning, and he earned the save to pick up another win for the Phillies. It was their 9th consecutive win, and it just was an electric finish, like I said, between Max Kepler forcing the extra innings with that solo shot to head to extra innings, and then Brandon Marsh having that double play, throwing that runner, game-winning runner out at home to give the Phillies another chance to take a lead and win the game, which they ended up doing. Just incredible stuff, and just all the credit in the world to them. That's a tough thing to do in that situation. You got to have a strong arm. You got to be able to, get a good throw there, and it all just worked out for the Phillies, and they came away with another win. Unfortunately, Sunday, they dropped, like I said, that game to the A's 5-4. They were down 3-0 after the first inning. Jesus Luzardo let up 3 runs, a little uncharacteristic for how well he's pitching, but then he gutted out a great performance as the game went on. The Phillies chipped away at that 3-0 lead by the A's, ended up tying it up 3-3 in the 5th inning of that ball game on Sunday, and then Trey Turner, the all-star shortstop for the Phillies, hit a go-ahead solo home run in the 8th inning, late in the game again, to make it a 4-3 Phillies lead. And then, usually you would think you're sending one of your best relievers, if not your best reliever out there. Matt Strahm took the mound for the Phillies in the 8th. Unfortunately, he allowed a walk, and then he allowed an RBI triple, which was the game-tying RBI, to make it a 4-4 game. And then he allowed a game go-ahead and eventual game-winning RBI single on the very next batter to give the A's a 5-4 lead, and that's all they needed. The Phillies couldn't get the job done against the A's all-star closer Mason Miller in the 9th, so they dropped it 5-4. Tough game. Like I said, you're not going to win it all, and there's a lot to like about the Phillies because they have been winning a lot of ball games, and you're just going to not win every game. So they dropped that game. Move on to the next one. Like I said, a huge series against the Braves coming up. But speaking of Mason Miller is a trade candidate option for the Phillies. His name was in trade rumors last year for the Phillies. Obviously, nothing ever happened. He is one of the best and younger relievers out there, closers out there. The A's obviously aren't a great team, so they could be sellers this year when the trade deadline rolls around in July. But Mason Miller, the Phillies got a first-hand, up-close and personal look at him on Sunday, and he got the job done against them to close out that and earn another save. He is a 26-year-old right-handed reliever, closer, like I said. Obviously, his name has been in trade rumors, as I also mentioned. He now, with that save on Sunday against the Phillies, he's now up to 12 saves in 14 opportunities this year in 2025. And he had 28 saves as the A's pretty much full-time closer last year in 2024. Incredible season by him, all-star, young guy, and the Phillies would be lucky to pull off a trade with the A's if it were to happen. He had a 2.49 ERA last year in 2024. This year, a little bit different so far. He's got a 5.79 ERA, obviously a lot higher than he would like and what you would like, but he is one of the more dominant closers. He's got great stuff, a great arm, and obviously he's very young still at 26, and the Phillies could use bullpen help with, obviously, Jose Alvarado's 80-game suspension I've been talking about, and obviously you guys have seen, and plus his playoff ineligibility this year in 2025 included in that suspension. So the Phillies do really need another late inning, high leverage bullpen arm to go along with Matt Strahm, Ryan Kirkring, and Jordan Romano. And Mason Miller could be a perfect option if they were able to pull off a trade before the trade deadline in July. Obviously, the Phillies are going to be on the bullpen market, whether something happens or not. Who knows? But they did get to see a potential option, a potential new member come July. Pitch against them up close and personal, like I said. And who knows what will happen. But Mason Miller, he's a great pitcher. He'd be a great option for the Phillies, and he would improve this team a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff to continue gaining all of this Philadelphia Phillies content from me. Again, tough loss on Sunday, but they're right back at it. Citizens Bank Park against the Braves. Fourth big 3-game series NL East clash starting on Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and go Bills.